Welcome. I'm Jordia Benjamin, Merkin Senior Coordinator of Programs and Audience Engagement at Colby College Museum of Art in Waterville, Maine. This is Artful Healing. Artful Healing is a part of the museum's wellness initiative under the larger program, Let Art Inspire. Our theme for the month has been Time to Face Yourself, inspired by the work of Lygon's Palindrome No. 1, 2007. We have viewed this work through the lens of yoga, meditation, and finally we're here with healing, a creative hands-on experience. Now, before we start the activity portion of this program, let's first revisit this artwork. Best known for his provocative text paintings, Lygon questions the identities we assume in a consistently shifting social-political world. While true Palindrome embodies directional equality, reading the same forward and backwards, Lygon presents only loose symmetry in Palindrome 1. In Palindrome No. 1, white neon words cast shadows and illuminate a message in simple script. Lygon speaks directly to the viewer through this piece, challenging his audience to confront our pre-existing perceptions of domestic identity and place in society. The phrase, "face me, I face you," refers to a style of low-rent Nigerian housing where a cluster of bedroom entrances all face each other. The reference asks us to consider how the politics of space governs our social and racial interaction, and that the very act of facing exposes the relative character of spatial and political power. The writer, James Baldwin, a frequent touchstone for Lygon, once observed as much, stating, "Not everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it is faced." Now, let's turn it over to our partner, Bodhi Simpson, a licensed art therapist who will lead us in the activity.
Hello everyone, welcome to Artful Healing. My name is Bodhi Simpson and I'm a registered art therapist. As an art therapist, my role is to assist people in learning how to connect to their inner truth through creative expression. The art that we create actually becomes a mirror where we're able to more clearly see our thoughts, emotions, what we believe to be true, and our patterns from a neutral space. Today I'm going to be guiding you in a contour self-portrait drawing in combination with a mirror gazing practice. We're going to learn how to truly face ourselves in our wholeness through creativity. For many of us, it's actually extremely hard to really be with ourselves in our wholeness. We've learned how to disown certain parts of ourselves and become really critical of ourselves. And the truth is that we all have this inner critical voice. Our brains are actually wired to look for what's wrong, and that's called the negativity bias. Another reason for these inner critical voices comes from early wounding, where at some time in the past we received messages on some level where we believed we weren't good enough or we weren't worthy, and these external messages started to become our own inner critical voice. It's really important to find practices where we can grow our curiosity and make space to get in touch with self-acceptance and really find ways to bring in the light and to hold space for all of us in our wholeness. Today's offering is not a substitute for therapy. If something arises that's in need of deeper healing, please seek out the support of a compassionate friend, family member, or therapist. And because today's offering is recorded, I would like to encourage you to pause the video when we engage in our creative practices and our mirror gazing practice, because for some of us 2 to 5 minutes is plenty, and for some of us you may want to engage in this for 15, 20, 30 minutes. It's really important to allow what feels right for you to emerge. So what I'd like you to do before we begin is find a safe, quiet space in your home. This would almost be like a sanctuary where you'll be uninterrupted for at least 30 minutes. A place that feels safe enough to really be honest with yourself, a place to face yourself. And in this space, you would turn off your cell phone and you would maybe have a table where you can lay out your materials. Today's recommended materials are a piece of 11 by 14 black paper, a white chalk pastel, a mirror, a paper towel, tissue, or napkin to clean your hands, a piece of paper for writing, and a pen or pencil for writing. I'm going to first ask that you take some time and gather your materials mindfully and lay them out near you. Okay, before we begin, we're going to enter into a brief grounding visualization. And this is really just going to help anchor us into our bodies so that we are able to stay present to whatever arises during the process. For some of us, it maybe has never felt really safe to truly be seen, and this process can feel a little bit awkward or out of your comfort zone. So when you're ready, what I'd like you to do is put your feet flat on the floor, and you're going to take a deep breath in through your nose till it almost hurts to breathe any deeper and hold it. Then as you breathe out, you're going to allow your breath to go down through your body and down into the earth. And what I'd like you to do is just take a few deep breaths and really connect to your belly rising and falling with each breath. And as you breathe, what I'd like you to do is just bring your awareness into your body and see if there is any tension or restriction or any heaviness that you're sensing. And I'd like you to allow your breath to move into those spaces. And what I'd like you to do next is place your hands on your heart center in the center of your chest. And we're going to take a moment and acknowledge that this process takes courage. It really takes a sense of bravery and courage to truly face ourselves in our wholeness. And really this practice is a way to honor ourselves. So what I'd like you to do is we're going to take a few deep breaths in through our heart space, just expanding through our body, and out through our heart space, just really taking the time to really open up our compassion center so that we can really see ourselves from a place of compassion as we do this work. And when you're ready, I invite you to open your eyes. And in a moment, I'm going to invite you to turn to your mirror and begin your mirror gazing practice. But before you do, I'd like to give you a few ideas to ponder. As you look at your own reflection, what I'd like you to do is allow space for you to become aware of what you're thinking about and what you're feeling as you gaze at your reflection. And you may start to open and consider ways that you've been hard on yourself. And you may also start to allow your own inner critical voices to emerge and to hear what they say. I would like you to just really take time to be with what comes as you view your image in the mirror, and I'd like you to pause the video now for at least 2 to 5 minutes or longer and come back when you feel ready. Okay, now that we've taken time to really be with our image and allow those inner critical thoughts or voices to float up, maybe you also had some more positive thoughts and emotions and you were just aware of those. What we're going to do now for this next part is we are, again, in a few moments going to gaze into the mirror for 2 to 5 minutes. But this time what I'd like you to do is really soften your gaze. So the first practice, you may have noticed that you had a little bit of a harsh gaze, really looking at yourself and looking into your own eyes. This time we're going to be looking deeply again into our own eyes, but we're going to be viewing through the eyes of our own hearts. So you may actually put your hands on your physical heart if that's easier, or just practice breathing in and out through your heart space as you allow your own love and compassion and kindness to flow out as you view yourself in the mirror. And as you're doing this, you may consider smiling and allowing yourself to see what that would look like when you smile. And if it feels safe, you may also allow yourself to show some faces of some emotions that you're holding under the surface. So you may practice holding love for yourself while you really see your own sadness, or you really allow your fear or worries to be seen, or your anger or your overwhelm. Really just taking this time to view yourself through the lens of love. And what I'd like you to do is, as you are being with yourself in this way, I'd like you to notice if you feel an expansion in your body, if you're able to bring in self-acceptance and start to feel it. So when you're ready, I'd like you to pause the video and take at least 2 to 5 minutes or longer and come back when you're ready. Okay, now that we've had some time to be with our thoughts and feelings about ourselves, and also to practice viewing ourselves through the eyes of our own hearts, and holding space for all of our parts and our wholeness, we're going to continue to grow that awareness and that experience through our meditative contour self-portrait drawing. The reason I chose the black paper is because it reminded me of our shadow parts, you know, the parts of ourselves that we're so critical of, that we turn away from, and that we often disown. And I chose the white pastel because to me it represented bringing in the light consciously, really choosing to be with the darkness and also bring in the light. So almost a sense of a visual yin-yang that we're creating. As we create our self-portraits, what I'd like you to do is you're going to look in the mirror with a neutral expression. And again, we're continuing holding our hearts open as we be with all of it. And you are going to pick up your pastel and start with one line on your face. And you're going to draw one continuous line without lifting the pastel off the paper to start to transfer your essence from the mirror to the artwork, to the paper. So again, this is a practice in growing self-acceptance, and that also translates into your artwork. This does not need to be something you consider to be perfect. We are simply using this as an experience and a practice in growing our ability to give ourselves our own loving attention. I'm going to model this for you here, and you can create yours while I'm creating mine, or you can watch and then create yours afterward. So you're mostly looking in the mirror and then just allowing your pastel to start to express your essence onto the paper. These may look a little bit abstract. We have, it's a hard time to keep your focus on your image and on your paper at the same time, and that's okay. I like to imagine, as I am tracing my lines on the paper, that I'm bringing extra love and attention and acceptance to each part, especially in today's world where we have so many filters for photos and different apps to change our image. It's really powerful to just practice being with our true image. And we're really just following our own sense of beauty and flow. letting go of perfection, and really honoring our own expression, which is a beautiful thing. And once you have completed your contour self-portrait, what I'd like you to do now is you're going to put the mirror away, and you can get out your paper and your pencil for journaling, and put aside your drawing materials, clean up your hands. And what we're going to do now is we are going to allow our artwork to be the mirror. And there's a different level of depth that we can go to when viewing our own image that we have created, as opposed to looking directly at our image in the mirror. When we are looking directly at our image in the mirror, we're emotionally tied into what we're seeing because it's a direct reflection. And when we create our expression onto the paper, we're able to step into that witness perspective where we're not so emotionally tied into the image. There's a little bit of separation. And what this allows is for us to continue to stay present with the experience of holding all of our parts in wholeness. And we can just get curious in a different way. So as you journal, what I'd like you to do is maybe just start to free write around what came up for you at any point in this process, if it was an easy process or if it was hard, and what new awarenesses arose. I'd also like you to consider writing about what you love about yourself, and maybe, what you became aware of that in the past you haven't loved about yourself. You may also have started to become aware of some different masks that you have worn at different times in your life, and you could journal a little bit about that and go as deep with that as feels comfortable. And if you are interested in going even deeper with this practice, you might consider really looking at your image and journaling about, asking yourself, who am I? If I allow my sense of who I think I am, or what I have believed myself to be, if I allow that to soften, if I quiet the voices in my own mind and of others' judgments, who am I? What do I think is my identity? And just allowing yourself to just be honest. And moving forward, sometimes people like to put these up in their meditation or creative spaces to remind them to be present with all aspects of themselves, and to remind them to create more of these drawings, or to engage in a daily or weekly mirror meditative practice. Just use this in whatever way this has inspired you or touched you. What matters most is that you find ways to incorporate self-acceptance in your daily life. We want to learn how to be kind to ourselves no matter what is happening. And the truth is that many of us have never truly been taught how to do this. I'd like to thank you so much for joining us for this Artful Healing program, and for learning how to create space to face yourself in your wholeness, and to open to self-acceptance and self-compassion. I look forward to being with you on the third Monday of next month. I'll see you then.
I hope you have enjoyed today's program, and I invite you to follow us on all of our social media accounts at Colby Museum, and visit us on our website, colby.edu/museum, to stay updated on all of our upcoming programs, events, and so much more. Like always, from our museum home to yours, take care, and I will see you next month.